There's always a cause. We have to open our eyes. We have to look around us. Don't get overwhelmed, but be strategic and do something about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're doing here. We're trying to help by providing the information, the statistics, and the discussion about the solutions.
We are constantly publishing content with valuable information just like this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a podcast.
All right, you guys, welcome to the All In Nutritionals podcast. We have a full table today. We have Adam McCarty, we have Weston Horn, we have, of course, Lindsay Duncan, and myself, Molly Duncan. And today, the purpose of us all getting together is to really kind of talk about who All In is as a brand. And we're going to talk a lot about kind of behind the scenes today, things that people might not know right off the rip, as far as our formulations and our manufacturing and really kind of what sets us apart from
philosophy.
Yeah, our philosophy, all those things. Because I think like the world of supplements is so big, it's so vast, and people can get overwhelmed when they look at all the different brands and all the things that are offered out there. And so hopefully by the end of this, our listeners will understand why we truly are unique and we are not just another supplement company. We really stand apart from everything else that's out there. So, yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're growing,
Yeah.
It's interesting to see the changes that have happened in the company just over the last 2.5 years. We just keep getting better and better. It's like a fine wine.
Yeah, it truly is. So before we get started, will everybody kind of go around? I think everybody mostly knows what you do, but even if maybe people are new to All In and they don't know, so let's all kind of go around and, your name again and share kind of your role and what you do each day at All In.
Sure. I'm Adam McCarty. I'm the manufacturing and distribution manager here at All In Nutritionals.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm Weston Horn, and I'm really head over research and development, mainly dealing with formulation, education, ingredient sourcing. Of course, that spills into a million other things, but that's my main lead.
QC and QA.
Yeah, quality control through every bit of it.
And you brought your brand into All In.
Agape Herbals, yeah. So I brought my brand, and we've kind of merged into one company now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm Lindsay, and I basically make sure that we get really, really good information out to people in need and followed with really, really good products that are going to change their life. And that's kind of what I do 6 days a week.
And you're the founder.
I'm the founder,
Yes.
And my background is in nutrition, so I have multiple degrees. I am a doctor of naturopathy. I'm a certified nutritionist. Most importantly, studied with Bernard Jensen for 7.5 years and certified in over a half a dozen of Bernard Jensen's healthcare modalities.
Yeah, right. And I'm Molly Duncan, so I'm Lindsay's wife. And my main role in All In would be a lot of the marketing, the blogs, all the podcasts I kind of sit in and kind of moderate there. Technical writing, all those kinds of things. Yeah. So, and a support to you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
A very good one.
Yes. So, well, thank you. So let's talk about, first of all, kind of how All In came to be. Some people know, some people don't, but like, why was All In created in the first place?
Yeah, well, first off, I think who needs another nutritional supplement company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. There's literally, there's literally thousands of nutritional supplement companies. And so it's a good question. Why is there another one needed? I could spend an hour, the whole podcast, on that alone, but I'm going to try to break it into two categories. The first category is, and that people know this, and I've been saying this for 38 years. Number one, we have a toxic world. Do we have products that really, truly, on a deep level, can detoxify the body? It's not a lot of really good ones out there on the market. Yes, we do. All In does. It's a depleted world. The world is the world of nutrition, the world of food. I'm not talking about just the obvious, the fast food and the breakfast cereals and the stuff that we all have finally become educated on and know that it's poison. But I'm talking about the soil and the vegetables and the fruits and the grains and the nuts and the seeds. It's depleted. Do we need nutrients that truly can be utilized by the body to fix this or to remedy this or to supply nutrition to the body? Yes, we do. are we living an acidic life? A life that is too acidic on our bodies. I'm not talking about if you're just doing a lot of alcohol and a lot of coffee and a lot of meat and a lot of sodas. I'm talking about stress and all the other things that make our bodies acid. Yes. And are we living in a world where, I hate to say it because it sounds grim, so I don't mean it heavy, but basically we die from our genetic weaknesses. So the human being, when we take our last breath, if it's not from an accident, something, a trauma, an accident, it usually becomes from a genetic weakness that we inherited and we didn't take care of, and then that organ gets sick over time. And as it gets sick, it gets toxic, it gets depleted, it gets weakened, and then it gets diseased, and then that's how we die.
Yep.
This person dies from the lungs, or this person dies from the colon, or this person from the heart, or this person from the liver, or the lymphatic system, the breast. We all have genetic strengths and we all have genetic weaknesses. And I learned this 35 years ago with Bernard Jensen. He said, Lindsay, always remember this. Human beings die from their weakest link. That's always the first thing to go. And that's always the first thing to strengthen. All in Nutritionals, we understand that. And if any company knows how to get in and support weak organs, organs that need that love, that need that care, that need that nutrition, that need that purification, that need that detoxification, it is us. It is us. We've got over 50, probably closer to 60 years of combined experience in the trenches, helping people get well in a clinic where they were not well, and we were their last resort. That's one of the things that makes All In so powerful, so different, so unique, and so relevant today.
And that's, I think, a really important piece that when you look at most nutritional companies out there, answering back to your question of why do we need another one, is that most nutritional companies are not founded from that. Most nutritional companies are not founded from a clinic, from practitioners. And this was always my guff when I was in my practice was I was working with people, I was reading the science and literature, I was seeing the traditional herbalism that I studied and that I learned, and I knew the best of both of those worlds. And so I would write a protocol for somebody and I would ask them to go get it. And then I'd have to handhold them all the way through the process because they're like, where do I get the combination of herbs? And I was like, oh, I guess no one's doing it right now. I can't be the only one watching the science. Someone will do this. I don't have to do it. And for years, I was too busy in my practice to make these formulas come into existence. I was formulating, I was writing them down, I was combining them, I was seeing how things work together. I was kind of mastering that art of formulation. But I just kept saying, oh, someone else will do it. I can't be the only one reading the science. I can't be the only one in the trenches seeing this. Well, most supplement companies don't have those practitioners ahead of it. So they don't create bowel products because why would you? That's not sexy. That's not fun. Let's make something that everybody will love. How do you market poop, right? So this is the thing that people need. But it's also not the thing that most people think of.
Correct.
You know, when you start a supplement company and you come out with cleansing products first. That's somebody who understands the human body. That's somebody who's been with people, who sees their struggles, who sees the issues that they're facing, and wants to do it in a better way. In a cleaner way, and in a more pure way. And that's really not being done out there. And I kept watching, and no one's doing this. So then I had to start something. And it's kind of interesting because All In Nutritionals and Agape did start around the same time. We both kind of like felt that push, I think, to come out and do it for different reasons, of course. But we both came out into emergence at the same time. And then both of us agree there's not really another company we would have imagined merging with when we did. Because no one else was doing it for the same reasons.
For sure. For sure.
And on that deep of a level.
I think those are all really good points. So, I mean, it goes so much further. I mean, the formulations are extremely important. Obviously, if you don't have a good formulation, you don't have a good product and all of those things. But we even have taken a step further because we manufacture our own products, which I just want to say, I didn't know that's what we were going to end up doing.
I didn't tell her that.
Yeah, she should have known, right? She should have seen the writing on the wall.
By the way, where you live is also going to become like the all-in campus.
The facility,
that was told to me later. It's all good. But why did we decide to manufacturing? Because, over 70% of other supplement companies do not.
No.
And there's a lot of reasons.
It's probably closer to 80%, actually.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's so many reasons, but the obvious reason is, the reason why most companies don't do it is it's just too much work and too much money.
Yeah.
It's, I mean...
That's the obvious answer.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the manufacturing facility on our campus takes up 2 of 4 buildings.
Right.
No, 5 buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of 4 buildings, right?
Yeah. How many buildings?
Yeah. So on our campus, there's 4 buildings, and the manufacturing takes up, distribution, raw materials take up over half of the total square footage.
Yeah.
But the investment has probably been 80% of the investment that we put into the company.
Yes.
And so I got to be honest with you, and you know this, most companies don't even touch their products. Most brands play that middleman, middlewoman, where they're in the middle, they're marketing a product, but they're getting it from this company, they're distributing it from this company, it's going to the consumer that they marketed to on social media, but they never see it, they never touch it. They certainly don't ever see a C of A or a raw material or a test or a microbiological test or anything like that. So it's not the easy way to do it, but it is the best way to do it. If you're in this for the long term, if you're in this to make sure that you're buying the right materials, you're buying clean raw materials, you're testing everything properly, you're putting in overages into the formula so the formula has more than what you claim that it has, that the products are clean, that you can slow the machines down so you're not running so fast and having to add excipients and binders and flow agents. You're controlling your world. You're controlling your product and your environment. You're buying from trusted suppliers versus
not knowing.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I just, how many did I sell?
Yep.
And that's what most people are doing. That's not what we're doing. We're not interested in business conducted in that manner.
And we're controlling every aspect.
Yeah,
from the formulation to the manufacturing to the marketing.
Yeah. To the testing.
Every ingredient that comes in.
Yeah.
It's funny that you talk about overage because I bought a product the other day off of Amazon that we don't carry that I needed. And I opened the bottle and it's like this big, and I was like, oh, great, awesome. And I opened it up and it was literally, I was like, this is such a waste. It's not even like a quarter of the way full.
Quarter of the way full.
And that's what most companies are doing. And then if you look at our jars, they are filled to the brim.
Sometimes they actually stick. The capsule will stick to
the little seal. Yeah, because it's right there at the top. It's that full. Yeah, so that's just one example of, the things that we do that are so much different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But why, so that's why companies don't manufacture. Yeah. Obviously.
And lack of
cost,
knowledge.
expense, lack of knowledge, all those
it's
things.
It's technically 2 different businesses also, just to make it really clear.
Well,
manufacturing is one business. Selling supplements or creating
100%.
or marketing is a whole separate business. And most people might be kind of good at one or the other.
But not.
Most people are not good at both, and most people won't take on the burden and the difficulty of learning both.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think that's true.
Which is true.
So the question is, why are we?
Because we are obsessively caring about how it turns out. And I've always said that these are not just supplements. These are not just something we're doing to move a product or to make a buck. This is something that I'm literally talking to my dad about, saying, man, you're going to love this thing that comes out. It's going to impact your health, and it's going to be so much better for you than what you're currently doing, and I know you need this.
Yeah.
And we've sat with how many sick people that are so sick,
Yep.
and we know what they need, And that's the person we think about when we start the process.
Yeah.
When we start the formulating, when we start the manufacturing, all the way through to them getting it. This is going to go to my loved ones. This is going to go to my kids. This is going to go to the people that need it and need a change in their life and have to feel the effect of it.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
true.
I see the product as a baby, okay, and I want to raise that baby. I want to keep that baby protected. I want to keep it clean. I want it to be the best that it could possibly be. And when you create something like a nutritional supplement product, if it has legs, if it lasts, you're creating part of your legacy. I mean, when I'm gone, and when you're gone, and when you're gone, these products will not be gone.
Is Adam not going anywhere?
Yeah.
Let me pray.
Adam's
He
gonna
said
live
that to
forever.
everybody except Adam. Adam's living forever.
These
How's your supplement protocol?
Oh,
You doing
great.
well lately?
these products are here to stay, okay? They're not going anywhere, and they will outlive us. They'll continue. I have products that are on the market still that I developed in 1985.
Right.
Now, how many people on TikTok can say that they
The overnight
developed...
nutritionist on TikTok.
Yes, the 1 week nutritionist
Yeah.
can say, I have a product that's won awards that I developed in 1985. Most of them weren't born in 1985.
Yeah, right.
And that is still on the market and still sold in most grocery stores and health food stores and online e-tailers in all of North America and throughout the world. Not many.
Yeah.
That is a legacy. If you're going
I
to
agree,
create something
sure.
and you're going to put your name on it, it's got to be clean. It's got to outlive you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good point. What, just out of curiosity, okay, you said 85 was your first product? So
Yep.
was that, so when was your first formula? How long did it take you to get from first formula to first actual manufactured product?
A year and a half, 2 years.
Okay, so around,
83, 84,
okay.
85, 86 was in my clinic. I was using it with my clients and with incredible results. And then all of a sudden, other practitioners and health food stores started calling me saying, I don't know what you created, but I
Yeah.
got to have that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I'd ship it to them and slap a label on it. And then all of a sudden, it became Nature's Secret. It
Yeah.
became a household name.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many products I've formulated over the years, but probably close to 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So that kind of leads me into like the next talking point, which is what sets us apart. Like we've already, a lot of everything that we've discussed is an indicator of that. But I think there's some additional things to point out. For one, and I know you won't say it about yourself, so I'll say it. I think like, you know, the lineage of products that you have in your history, the experience. I mean, you've been in this field since I was like 2. So, sorry.
Literally.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
So,
Actually,
yeah.
no, I've been in the field longer because I had my nutrition clinic.
Okay.
My first product was 1985, 1986, but I had my nutrition clinic 1982. When were you born?
82. Yeah. Yep. So there we go. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's interesting because most people don't stick with necessarily one profession their entire life, you know. And the thing I know about Lindsay, and I would say this to you too, Weston, but he's been in it. He's older. But I know,
Seasoned.
yes, there we go. He's seasoned, experienced. One of the things, I said this to somebody else a couple of days ago, we were talking about kind of the experience of the, you know, behind the company and everything. I said he's never stopped learning. Like he still researches as if he's brand new.
Yeah.
And I know you do the same as it relates to the formulas. The amount of research and hours that go behind not just the formula as a whole, but every single ingredient. I am like blown away at the process.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's very complicated. To do it right, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a really good example of this, and I guess I can say this hopefully, but is we have a liver product coming up. And if you look at most liver products on the market, there's 2 or 3 ingredients you find in a lot of them. And I would say those are 2 or 3 that are pretty well vetted in herbal history. Like if you ask Lindsay and I, hey, what are a couple herbs that work very, very well in helping someone's liver.
Milk thistle, dandelion, and dandelion.
And dandelion. And they're there, right? They're in our formula. However,
They're not primary.
they're not the primary ones.
Yeah.
And so no one on the market is doing the 6 or 7 other active ingredients that are the more primary ones, because no one knows how to formulate that all the way through, and no one is really diving deep into the clinical research. If I shared the studies with you of what those other 6 or 7 herbs did, you'd be like,
you'd be blown away.
I'm going to take that for the rest of my life because of not just the effects on the liver, but on metabolic processes and everything else in the body.
And if you dug deep enough, you'd actually would say, can you remove the dandelion and the milk thistle and put more of that in?
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Right. And we'd say, no, it deserves its place there because it works, and we know the supporting effects that it has and everything else.
Yeah.
But most people are not going through that process.
Right.
Most people are not learning. And some of these studies came out in 2022.
Yeah.
Some of these studies came out in 2023. So you can't let up off of that science.
Yeah, you can't stop.
My wife might hate it, right? Because sometimes it's like 10 o'clock at night, I'm on my phone, I'm reading through the literature.
Yeah.
She's like, it'll be there tomorrow. Just put the phone down, right? But that's important that we're staying current, because there's some incredible science happening. And we're seeing really incredible things going with that.
Yeah.
And then that, of course, once it's all formulated, we then take it into its next steps.
Which
I think Adam can talk to on the manufacturing side, that we have to approve that all in-house. We have to make it. We have to taste it. As an herbalist, it always blows me away, Lindsay, like you're saying, our companies don't touch their product.
Yeah.
Like if I asked most people what Tongat Ali tasted like, they would have no idea.
No, they couldn't pick it out in a
right.
field.
And I taste and I touch and I smell every herb. And like even if we're doing a powder where we're adding flavors and formulas, everyone else here at this table tastes it. To Adam's dismay. I've given him some nasty tasting herbs, right? He's like, oh, don't give me that one again, or finish the formula before you give me that.
Yeah.
But you have to. That's the whole profile of understanding these formulas, is that you have to taste it, you have to touch it, you have to put it together, you have to trial it, and you have to work with people with it.
Yeah.
And then I can hand it off to manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I think you should speak to some of that too, because that sets us apart. What do we do in manufacturing that's different?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, thinking about that, and as we discussed, I think our cleanliness and sanitation in every aspect, from just the facility itself, from the air to the tables. When we talk about compliance is there to keep dishonest people honest.
Yeah.
And when we're already in there for the right reason,
Yeah.
the cleaning supplies we're choosing is healthier cleaning supplies than what's out there.
Yeah.
We're already doing the stuff, and it's easy to be compliant when you're already in that same mindset.
Yes. Yes.
So the air is being sanitized, the tables are being sanitized. We're testing all the equipment to make sure that there is no bad microbiological contaminants in anything.
Yeah.
So it's not just the actual powders, but the environment, the equipment, the tables.
Yeah.
Which most people never think about any of
Never.
that. When
Never.
Like, what do you mean when you say clean air?
So we use an ozonator, and it's on a timer. So when in the evening, when everyone leaves, then the ozonator kicks on and cleans the air.
Yeah.
And we're constantly purifying the air. We have purifiers, changing the filters there, as well as the HVAC system with the purifiers. So
and this is like such a powerful example, because I know a lot of manufacturing plants in the country and in North America, and I've been to probably maybe half of them, because I've been in the industry so long and I've used them. I know of no other manufacturing plant anywhere in the world that ozonates their air through the night at 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. I know none. And so most people don't realize that when you get microbiological contamination, yes, you can get it on a counter. Yes, you can get it on a machine or on a utensil, but the air can carry it as well. The moisture in the air can carry things that people just don't realize. And that's how you can get contamination. Let me ask you a question. Out of all the years that you've been here and that you've been head of manufacturing and that you've basically touched every single batch, every single product, every single formula in some way, shape, or form, have you ever had one swab, one microbe, one microbiological contamination test that's come back negative?
No. Just the one I did on purpose, just to make sure the test strips were working correctly. Yeah.
So
These things have got to not be working. We've never netted a
we've
zero
never had
result.
anything. Yeah.
So you've been so clean that you actually had to test
Stage
your
of
strip.
failure. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And have it intentional.
Okay.
You're not going to find that in
Yeah,
any other
yeah.
manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
Well, even the jars. I mean, we've discussed amongst ourselves. I mean, no
That's-
other manufacturing is sanitizing their jars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so all of our packaging equipment, material-wise, is going through UV or some type of liquid sanitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Doug this morning in the meeting, he goes, why are you sanitizing your jars?
While we're looking to buy bigger UV sanitizers to do it even more,
Yeah.
right, on a
Yeah.
bigger scale because
Yeah.
we're growing so
Yeah.
So
fast.
this is really.
And Doug's been in the industry for
Doug
20
worked
years.
with
Yeah.
me at Genesis today.
Right.
Yeah.
Doug
Right.
has been in the industry
Yeah.
for well over 20
Yeah.
years.
yeah.
And the last company he worked for was a massive company.
Yeah.
And he's like, why are you sanitizing your glass jars?
Yeah.
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 Because we care and we want everything to be perfect.
Pristine.
Yeah.
That really speaks to who we are.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Talk about real quick, because it's the perfect segue, the NSF and GMP certification, because that's another. I mean, we were already doing things at this super high standard, and
Yeah.
now we've taken it even a step further, which
Well,
we.
made it difficult on
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, yeah,
Adam
those.
feels that.
A
He
company
came in with
that's
that bloodshot eye.
Yeah. Company that's 2 years old went from having 117 SOPs to how many SOPs do
We've
we
got over 300.
SOP is for someone who
Standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
We have to have written procedures for cleaning a utensil, cleaning a sink, cleaning a blender, cleaning a encapsulation machine. We have to have it for the temperature, for the humidity. I mean, what else do we have to have?
Yeah, from the operation of the equipment to, just as far as to monitor employees that are sick and
Yeah.
if they're allowed in the building or not. And so everything.
Wearing of masks, wearing of hair nets,
Yeah.
SOPs for the booties that go around the shoes, and cleaning your hands and
Yeah.
sanitizing, and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
using a certain sink. You have to use this sink.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
We have to have the door locked. No food can come into the manufacturing plant. The list goes on and on and on. We have over 300 of those now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And growing.
So share briefly how difficult and share briefly how powerful this NSF certification is.
Sure. So NSF is a third-party certifying company recognized worldwide. And so as a dietary supplement manufacturer, we have to be compliant to the FDA regulations. Everyone has to, or is supposed to. We'll
And
put it
we're
that way.
FDA registered.
Correct.
So we have the big FDA sign, plaque on our
Yes.
wall. It says it's got a registration number, date, and everything.
Yes.
Yep.
But unless you go for that higher level certification, then no one ever monitors you to make sure you're compliant unless the FDA shows up. And even at that, they can't check everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we chose to do is to go to a third-party certification system, and we chose NSF.
Which is it's the cream of the crop. It's the
Yes.
platinum of the all.
The certifying
the
body.
big
It's
daddy.
the
nutritional
certifies the Mac
supplements.
Daddy.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
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 Yep. And so we decided to use them as our certifying body. They came in for a couple days, actually close to 3 days, and going through
Yeah.
all of our documents, watching what we do, watching they require to watch every different process that we do within the manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
So
And then they comment on it.
Yeah.
Yes, and make comments and review it, and so
Yeah.
it's a very in-depth auditing process.
Yeah.
And we're still going through that now.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, our final audit is in
February.
about 45 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
intense.
basically say what you do what you say. So if you
Correct.
say that you do it and you document that you do it,
You better do it.
You need to prove that you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's documentation that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's very low basic standards, and then there's NSF standards.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And NSF standards are above and beyond FDA standards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
In
there
most
you go.
most
Yeah.
realms.
Yeah.
So that's-
yeah.
that's-
we're doing the top tier.
We're
for
doing,
sure.
and we're 3 years old.
Yeah, which
And
is
we're
unheard
doing
of.
3 years old, and we're doing
Yeah.
the top tier.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
And even above on some things. because we've talked about like humidity control and temperature control. So we've got thermostats throughout the facility, in refrigerators and in different rooms, and it's being monitored 24 hours a day. We can pull up a certain batch on a certain day and know what the humidity was, what the temperature is. That's not required.
Yeah.
But, you know, we went above and beyond to be able to track that.
Yeah. So people have no idea, like when they get their product in the mail, like
what is behind
all that's gone behind it.
No.
Okay. So which leads me to the next thing.
Well, let me just think. Let's just jump
that was
in
the
real
perfect
quick.
segue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just totally messed up my segue.
Sorry.
No, you can go. You can go.
No, I'm just saying. Think about the difference between a product that's developed in a marketing department.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No, I was actually thinking that while I was in here.
I am too. I'm sitting there going, here, I just want to market this. Just give it to me, whatever, and make the label look really groovy.
What's trending? What'll sell?
What's trending? What'll sell? Give me a great looking label.
Yeah.
And how about my landing page versus something that is just so taken care of, so cared for, so meticulously crafted and handcrafted that it is just perfect. That's what my mind is thinking.
And if you look at our product line, there's a certain percentage of our products that aren't trending, you know, because they're not the popular product choices, but that's because you guys understand what the human body needs. It's not necessarily the popular go-to best of, 2023 products that we're marketing. It's the ones that we understand and know that this is, if you have this issue, this is what you need. If you heal your gut, then the rest of your body follows and all of that. So, okay, now my segue, because it's still good. Take me through the perfect illustration of how a product comes into kind of conception, starting with the idea and all the way to seal of the bottle, out the door to the customer.
Pain.
Yep. Pain.
Starts with pain.
So that's the first thing that pops up.
The
first thing that popped up is my struggles as a child, the struggles that you went through, and the people that we've consulted with. It's the pain, it's the need, it's the desperation in the eyes. It's the people that want to truly, genuinely get well. Okay, what can we do to help? Okay, that causes no harm, that does no harm, and that only helps. Well, you're going to go to purification of the body, strengthening and supporting a very diverse gut microbiome, building up nutritional deficiencies, removing the acids out of the body and alkalinizing the body, the bloodstream, and the chemistry, and supporting those organs, whatever organ that is that needs that love and that support and that strength, that building up of that organ.
Yeah.
So how many products are those? It could be 100. I don't know. But if you're talking about the liver, it's the liver. If you're talking about the gallbladder, it's the gallbladder. If you're talking about the hormones, as you know, we came out with a 2-part hormone program. If it's purification and cleansing and detoxification and gut microbiome, that's our specialty. So we play in the areas that we know we're good in and that we know we're going to make a difference in a broad a spectrum of people's lives. You know, these products that we have now will affect millions of people in a very, very profound way. So that's the first, in my mind, that's the first step.
I mean, and another way you could look at pain is, can I afford to do this? So one of the things that I'm very, passionate about, and sometimes this gets bumped up against what the company wants to do, and that is we need to make everything affordable. And that's historically what we've done. Like you look at our greens powder, it's $40, right? Most other ones on the market that can even hold a torch to it are $100.
$100, yeah.
So to me, that's not usable every day.
Right.
Yeah. Like if I need to get clinical levels of nutrients into people's bodies, if I need to help them cleanse virus, yeast, parasites, heavy metals, if I need to get them really moving towards what's going well, they need to afford to be able to take the product. They need to not be scared to take the product. And we also see that pain out there where people are like, oh, I have this product I really love, it's $90 a month or it's $90 every 15 days. Don't worry. We will replace it with something that works better and is formulated properly that you can afford to take. that will create these results, because people are suffering in their body, they're suffering in their finances. We're trying to give them as many tools as possible to solve those pain points.
And the sad thing about it is that most people do not know why a product is $95 or $110 and it should be $40, $38, $39, $41. And one of the reasons is marketing. These companies have to put a ton of money in there because they do all these social media marketing. And they'll tell you, if you go to these social media marketing experts, they'll actually say to you, I can't work with you if you don't have an 80 margin.
Yep.
Catherine and I went through that, and Catherine was going like, man, I can't believe it. She goes, we really are undercharging for our products. she said, she goes, that's a real testament to us and to our fairness. And so, and then the other thing, in regards to the pricing of these products, is that we manufacture. There's no middle person. The middle people have been cut completely out. We run our own labels. True or false?
True.
We buy our own raw materials. We import our own bottles. We sanitize them. We make everything here. We have cut out middle person after middle person after middle person, which means 20 margin, 40 margin, 45 margin, 30 margin, 38 margin, and 50 margin. We've cut it all out. And we didn't stuff our pockets. We took the prices and we made the prices fair and took the smallest margin that we could make. And there's many products like our energy and our greens and our colostrum and our fiber. We could be charging $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 easily. And we're not. We're charging $34, $35.
Especially that energy, man. I was out yesterday and I was like, messaging Adam, like, I need my energy.
What did I say when I walked into distribution? I said, you would have thought that she ran out of baby
that
formula.
Canister is empty. That is not
Molly's coming, get the truck, load it, fill it up.
Exactly. That and the snack mix. Adam just knows. Like, he's got to make a lot of snack mix to keep up with
Molly
me.
happy.
And the coffee.
Exactly. And the coffee, So, okay. But take me through, idea, conception of idea.
So that's
take me through the process.
Pain, need, and knowing that we could make a difference with those areas of cleansing, balancing, building, and supporting the genetically weak organs.
So you got the concept, the idea.
So then we take that, and Lindsay and I have spent a lot of years in clinical practice, so we have a good idea of what works. And then we combine that with, like I mentioned before, the latest science. What does the science have to say? Not just what does the real world have to say. What's the best of real world science, practice, traditionalism, and traditional herbalism, and traditional knowledge? It's been around for thousands of years for a reason. And we put that together.
And we don't care what Facebook says. We don't care what TikTok says.
No.
We do not care about the trends. We care about what the science says. And we always go into National Institute of Health. We're always going to PubMed. We're always going and digging deep into the science. Then we go to the references and we dig through all the references and we keep digging. And we're always looking for human clinical trials, good animal clinical trials. We prefer human clinical trials, and we're always looking at the dosage. It always goes back to the source. Is it the leaf or is it the root they're talking about? Is it the flower or is it the bark? What is it specifically that was tested in this clinical trial, and how can we match that?
And that dosage is so important because so many other companies do what we call, fairy dust amounts of things, where they put tons of ingredients in there, and then I would always tell my clients, well, look, there's 10 milligrams of that in there. That's like, missing the mark by 500.
It's second to the last on the ingredient list. They're not giving you the amount, so it probably has 10 milligrams.
It has fairy dust in it.
And it needs, how many does it need? It needs 1,500 milligrams. Therein lies the problem. And there is a huge difference between 10 milligrams and a therapeutic dose, a clinical dose of 1,500 milligrams of something. We understand that as well or better than anybody else in the industry.
And then once that's all done, Lindsay and I sign off on that. He approves everything. We work on it together. then we hand it off and really start into manufacturing.
Watch me throw a huge curveball.
Uh-oh.
It
Adam's used to your curveballs by now.
Well, watch. This is a curveball, though. He says we hand it off to Adam, and then what happens if it's a powder? It has really, really nasty ingredients that taste and smell horrible. We don't hand it off to Adam yet. we have to crack the code on that, and that's one of the most difficult things in our industry to do without using fake sugars, unhealthy sugars, all of the sugar substitutes and the sugar modifiers and all of the things that are not good for you that many companies put in their products.
Right.
Yeah.
We're sitting here battling and struggling and fighting with organic monk fruit and Reb M and natural flavors that only come from the oil of the lemon or of the lime, natural oils that have been folded, have been multiplied.
Yeah.
This is not easy. We're picking the healthiest of the healthiest to try to remove the taste and the smell of the nastiest of the nastiest.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you have to make it palatable. And again, I'm just not willing to put stuff in there that's junky. I'm not willing to put in chemical bitter blockers. I'm not willing to put in chemical flavor enhancers. And we spend literally days, weeks, months perfecting something to do it in a natural way.
I can attest to that because we get teams come to the kitchen, we're tasting. I'm like, I cannot drink anything else today. Like, please.
Yeah.
Even
I
that
didn't
one
hear
day.
anyone complaining about the protein.
Well, that's true. That one day you were doing, which we haven't come out with yet, but the mushroom tea.
Yeah, mushroom tea.
And I came out kind of grumpy about it because I'm like, I cannot drink anything else, and I don't like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You guys heard it here first. Molly is admitting her
admitting.
grumpiness around the office.
Yes. And actually,
until she took mushrooms.
Yeah, and I took that
there
drink,
you go.
and I was like, this is actually really good. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, Weston, what did you give me? Like,
What was in that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
we do a lot of taste testing.
That's also where, like, if you don't taste every ingredient, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have a steeped history in this, you're not going to figure that out.
Right.
You're going to hand it off to a flavor house.
No way. Yeah, it's too
You're going to
hard.
spend $5,000, and they're going to fill it with chemicals and fill it with flavors, and it's going to taste like Fruity Pebbles, and everyone's going to love it. But it's not going to be something that you should feed your kids.
That's
it's not going to be something you should eat every day.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because most people don't realize that those other ingredients, those fillers, those
Natural
wood
ingredients.
pulp in the other agents is wrecking your gut, and it's
Yeah.
wrecking your brain, and it's wrecking your body. And here now you think you're doing a good thing, but you're taking something full of chemicals and full of those flow agents.
Sweeteners and
For sure.
and all the stuff that's bad for your kidneys, and it's bad for your lymphatic system, it's bad for your liver, your gallbladder. So let's just say that we now have a capsule formula, which is easier, a powdered formula or a liquid, which has to taste really good but has to be sweetened and flavored with true, natural, healthy for you sweeteners and flavors. Now we bring it over to we walk it over to manufacturing.
Pass the baton.
Yeah, and then Adam, Doug, and Weston start digging into who are the best raw material suppliers. And we have a blacklist, and we have a green list, a green light. There's ones that we will not use, and there's other ones that we love to use because we have vetted them and we know that we're going to get raw materials that are free from heavy metal contamination, microbiological contamination. We're going to get authentic ingredients, and so we know who to go to.
Yeah.
And then what do we do?
Yeah, and then I hand it to Adam, but like you mentioned, we're hand-holding that whole process. So it's not just like, oh, I hand it off and that's that. We work together to go through the first batching of something. We work together to make sure that everything goes appropriately. You want to talk some of that process?
Yeah, but one thing I think you skipped over that's important is that every ingredient that we have has a spec sheet.
Yeah.
So when we go to procure that item and find a source for that item, we're not just buying, what's off the shelf of that item, even if it's a trusted vendor. We have dialed in that we want it organic or what the extract ratio that we want it to be, heavy metals that we want out of it, all of that stuff. So we are declaring that up front. And then when those ingredients come in, then we're verifying that it meets our requirements before it ever gets into production.
Yeah. And then we test it. and then we work with it, and then we test it.
Well, first we evaluate what they supply us with.
Right.
So we evaluate their certificate of analysis. We evaluate their testing. We evaluate their clinicals. We evaluate everything they supply. Then we test to see if what they say is true.
Yeah.
And then when it passed our test, then it goes into the purchasing and procurement. Then we buy it. Then it comes in. Then we test it.
Against that. Yeah.
Against that.
Yeah.
So then what happens?
So then we start the manufacturing process, and everything
Receive everything in.
Yeah. So everything is documented the whole step of the way, not just the formulations, but we have a system that controls our formulations and our production orders. We issue lot numbers against all of that. We create work instructions, very detailed, pictured work instructions, so that way we can train our employees, even though you're training employees today.
That's what all those big binders are.
Yep.
Like
We have tons of binders.
7 binders. This
Oh, there you go.
this thick, just all the way across the table in manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we use those to train off of, but it's also that reassurance that in the case, one thing, we're growing so rapidly and we've been adding employees that we can go back to the original records. This is, how to manufacturing this product. So, we may love to get the product out to the market as quick as possible, but there's a lot of steps to make sure that we duplicate it with perfection every step of the way, especially in the manufacturing process.
Yeah.
So like Weston alluded to, that even at the very beginning when we start, then he comes in and verifies that what we're batching now at a larger batch than what his desktop batch was at the same level of his expectations.
It has to be tested against that.
Yeah.
And then my role of quality is that I then go test every batch when it's finished, and I watch and, hey, how much is that being filled in that capsule? Is that the full amount that we want? Because that has to be there to get us those clinical results. So is that in every capsule? Is that being sealed properly? Is nothing going to get into that? And Adam has processes on every single one of those, but we don't just leave it to him. It's really important that you have someone outside of that, technical manufacturing train that can train and that can also verify.
Which
so
is
then we
NSF
taste it.
requirement.
Yeah. So we taste it, we try it, we go through all those processes on every single product and every single batch that we run, which is exhausting because we run small batches. We don't have anything sit on the shelf for very long.
Good point. Good point. So if I said to you, hey, Adam, we got a call, which we have no complaints ever, never had one. We got a call and somebody said that one of their pills has green something growing on it. And it was a year old. And I said to you, Adam, can you, if that person gives us the lot number and the date and everything and the product name, could you find out exactly when it was made, how it was made, who made it, what time it was made? Can you find out every single thing about that one bottle of products?
Yes. Yeah, we can go down. We have batch records, manufacturing records from the employees that ran it, the timestamps. Even we have separate records on the equipment. So we have equipment records on when it's being ran, the time frame it's being ran, who's running it, when it's being cleaned,
what
to
day.
verify that it's been cleaned between batches. All of that's documented.
And how many were made and everything.
And
then
we've
we
even got
hold
video
a sample.
cameras in there that timestamp everything's being made. So we can even go back
To the
and
video.
look at the video of the batch records. So,
Is it safe to say that everybody at this table has OCD? I mean, you all have to be on OCD.
It takes a lot.
They have OCD. For me,
I live with you.
For me, it's so bad that I have.
I know. I've heard
to
this
put-
joke a million times.
I have to put it in order so it's CDO.
Okay, there you go.
That's how bad my OCD
Right,
is.
I know. Okay, so Lindsay, give me a summary of the main things that set All In Nutritionals apart.
So our formulas, our people, our philosophy of where we go when it comes to wellness, the nutritionist aspect, the clinical aspect of 60 years in the
credibility
in the nutrition industry.
Yeah.
The credibility and just the how long this tea bag has been steeped. It's been steeped. It's strong.
Yeah.
We manufacture, and we manufacture well, really well, very deep.
Yeah.
And I would say, I'd say our small batch, the freshness, we're going to be seeing a lot of clinical trials in the future about fresh vitamins versus unfresh vitamins and food-based vitamins versus non-food-based. We're at the top of the food chain when it comes to the plant, caring for the plant, respecting the plant, and the freshness of our products and the freshness of our batches. I can say that we've never run a batch over 500 bottles. All of our batches right now to date average around 100 to 120 bottles a batch. Nobody in the entire country is doing that. No. And that's about as fresh as you get. What does that mean? That means that our customers are reordering about every 10 to 15 days. What does that mean? Their customers are getting their products in their hands within 30 days of being made, of the coffee being grinded, of the snack being cut, of the capsule being made. That's powerful. That's fresh. That's really, really unique.
Yeah, for sure.
So those would be just some of the main ones.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about kind of strengths and weaknesses, because no company is perfect. You know, companies are a lot like people. You know, you've got your really strong points and you've got your weak points.
Okay.
So we've talked a lot about strengths.
Yeah.
Tell me some weaknesses when it comes to All-In Nutritionals.
I think we have a tendency to take on more than what we should. You know, we've grown dramatically. We've grown, you know, some quarters will grow 1,000, 2,000%. Some quarters will grow several 100%, 800. So it ranges anywhere from 100 to 2,000%. That's not easy. That's hard on us as a team. Yeah. And it's hard on management. And so I think that we have a tendency maybe to take on more than what we should take on, because we just have a can-do attitude. Yeah. And we have a lot of positive energy. So I would say that, and I don't know, what else do you think would be a weakness?
Yeah, I mean, one of the strengths that we've been good at doing is getting a lot of products out there. And I know that Lindsay and I both have a big list of formulas that we've worked on for a long time and that we want to get out there. Yeah. And sometimes one of our weaknesses, which is maybe why we're doing this today, is that we don't take enough time to sit and educate those people.
Yeah.
You know, people want to hear from us, I think. They've been following us for a while. People for you have been following you for decades. Yep. And so we need to take maybe better gander at sitting and saying, hey, guess what? You know, we do this different in all these different ways, and this is why you really need to be taking a look at this and educating people through the process. We get caught up with, oh my gosh, we got to get these 10 products out there. No one's got this in their liver formula. No one's doing a clean version of a protein powder. No one's doing all these other things. And it's true. And we need to make sure that we take our time and
well, just
convey
like
that
when we
to
were
people.
Sitting down last week and making our list for the products of 2024, and Adam's face was continuing to the list kept
Sometimes
growing
we create faster than we can manufacture.
But that we were just all like rapid firing them, you know, products that we want to and I think that's true. And part of that is we're excited to like push it out, you know.
Absolutely.
But
we love what we're doing.
Yeah, we need to take more time to like kind of explain.
And I think another weakness, I know you asked for one, but I want to give you another one because I think it's important, and that is we're so limited to what we can say about our products. I think that's a tremendous weakness because if we could go out and really say
what we really
what our products do, and we could say what the historical value of our products and what the clinicals are saying about our ingredients in our products, if we could go out and not be censored and really just communicate, not pushing or hawking or trying to oversell or overpromise. If we could just inform what our products do, it would be a different world.
Oh, I know. Well, I get frustrated because I'll be like, I want to do a video about this product because it helped me so much in this way. And he's like, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't. And it's like so frustrating. So whenever listeners, whenever anybody here says, go do your own research.
Do your own
that
research.
Means that there's a lot of punch to
and that
what
we
we're
can't say it.
Exactly.
We're not allowed to legally say what it is that the products do.
Right.
So if we say go
do your own research.
Go do your own research. Please do it because there's something behind that.
Yes. All right. If customers were to describe All-In Nutritionals, what do you think they would say?
Strong.
Pure. Potent. Well-formulated.
Quality.
Determined. So I would say the main ones for me would be strong, pure, determined, and life-changing.
Yeah. I would say caring. I see that on a lot of people say we truly care. You know, like we really go above and beyond. Like when you call the office, you talk to a person, you know, and if we don't have it maybe necessarily right now, we're going to sure as heck work to get it, you know.
What we try to not be, and I don't even think it's in us, is that marketing, that selly.
No.
We try not to be selly.
Like...
We're not slippery. We're not that slimy kind of just push it out. We're more about, if I had to describe us as a personality, it would be a healer. We're a true healer.
Yeah. I would agree.
I've heard you say this a long time ago, Lindsay, and I think this applies now, and that's we're doing a good thing in a not very good market.
Yeah.
We're well intentioned with what we're doing.
Yeah. And people know that.
People feel that because they can call and talk to us and they can ask us questions, and we really will take the time to work with people. But that's pretty rare.
Yeah. And if we, as you know, even with your mom, your family, everybody, if there's a product that we think they need that's carried by another company, we recommend it. It doesn't have to be our product. The objective number one is to help the person get well. It's not to push product. And so we're very often suggest another
product. I've seen you do that a million times. Yeah.
Constantly.
So let's talk about private label real quick, because this is something I think is really amazing. Yeah, and we don't talk about
Nobody
it at
knows
all.
it.
We haven't even announced we're doing this, but we are doing it for a handful of providers. And I think it's just a very awesome, beneficial, positive thing. So talk about the private label side of manufacturing.
Well, it's real simple. We do what we do so well, from the formulation to the flavor profile, especially the flavoring, the formulation, the ability to make something horrible that tastes horrible taste great, and the cleanliness and the myopicness of what we do is so profound that people want us to make their brand. Chiropractors, doctors, nutritionists, medical doctors, scientists, researchers have all come to us and said, hey, we want you to make our formulas. And so, we're not taking a lot of new people. We take about 3 or 4 new customers a quarter. But it's an important part of our business, and we are becoming very well respected at what we do, which is taking other people's concepts and making them better than what they could have ever dreamt possible. And we do it with a lot of care. We do it with the same care that we do with our, sometimes more, with our products. Because we're trying to please.
Right.
Yeah. Oftentimes there's even things that they don't ask us for that we do.
We do all the time.
Right? It's like, oh, well, we actually think this should be organic because this one's full of pesticides. This is a really dirty one that we found in there. And so we're going to not charge you different, but we're actually going to put the organic one in there. We're not going to take the cheap extract. We're going to put the whole herb because this is important. Through all the ingredients.
I'm thinking of 4 products that we did exactly that. Right now I'm thinking of another company's 4 products, and we did exactly what Weston is saying right now.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking too what you were saying about like the affordability. So I know a lot of our providers that have come to us have said like, look, my clients need, or my patients need this product, but it costs $90, and they maybe they can take it for 2 months, but they can't take it long term, and they need it long term. And so they come to us, and we do exactly what you explained, which is we take the product, make it better, but offer it at an affordable price. So that makes not only the practitioner feel happy and good, but now the patient can actually get what they need.
Perfect example, you know who I'm talking about, but there's one individual who is a medical provider, and she had 3 products that she was recommending, and the 3 products combined together from another professional doctor's brand were costing about $120 to $130 for the 3 products together. We took the 3 products, made a better formula, put them into one formula, and she ended up charging $29.95. She's selling something stronger, 3-in-1, not cut down on the capsules, same amount of capsules, more in the milligrams of the key ingredients, and a better formula. And she's charging $30 versus $120. That provider is very happy with that.
For sure.
And it's unique that we'll take people at low minimums because we care a lot about these other practitioners.
Yeah,
Lindsay and I know how hard it is
true.
to be in your clinic and not have products that people need or products that are affordable. And so we're willing to come and meet people and say, hey, we'll run a batch of 200 or something for
which
you.
is unheard of.
Which is
No one would do that. When I had Agape, I tried.
Yeah.
So part of the reason I took it in-house was because it was so absurdly expensive to go elsewhere. And I'd send people formulas, and they're like, I don't know what that herb is. Can you...
and what are the minimums they want?
We have an extract, 5,000 bottles. Yeah, 5,000
That's
bottles.
the average, is 5,000.
And so we come in and we say, we'll do it cleaner than you want. We'll do it more pure. We'll use better ingredients than you think. We'll improve the formulation, and we'll kick you off
with
at something that we don't even make money on. 200.
Not the first.
Just to get you going and get you out the door and help you and help the people that you serve.
And what most people don't know is running 5,000 kills the freshness.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's going to sit on the shelf for a
it
few years.
destroys the freshness.
Things, the excipients and binders and everything you have to put in to make your machines run fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't
preserve it for 3-4 years. So
we don't use any.
Shelf.
Yeah, we don't use any of the excipients and binders.
Yeah.
None of the shellac and none of the beetle juice and none of the dicalcium phosphate and none of the cross-carmelose sodium and the methylcellulose, all this stuff. None of it. We don't use any of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, last question. This is a fun one. Where's All In going to be in 5 years?
Ooh.
That's a tough question, right? Who knows? Because if you look like how much we've grown in such a 2021, our first product, Vitalized Silver, came out in October of 2021. And it's, what is today? Today's January 9th, 2024, and we currently have
probably 80, counting private label, 75 to 80 products, counting our private label products for other customers.
Yeah,
80.
that's not even a full 3 years.
No.
So where are we in 5 years?
I think we're
1 million products.
I think in 5 years, I think we are. We're not giant.
Yeah.
We're not the biggest. We're not the most well-known. But I think that we're a boutique that the customers that have found us love us.
I would agree.
And I say, it doesn't matter how big we are. It matters how much love comes our way.
Right.
How much respect.
Yeah.
How many people trust and respect us totally with their health. That number, I think, is high. I think it's a lot of people. I don't know. We're not the biggest brand. I don't want to ever be the biggest brand.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the biggest company. I don't even want to be a household name. But the few million people that we service, I want them to trust us explicitly 100%. And I want them to all have had an incredible experience with us. And that's all that matters for me.
Yeah, and you and I mean, when we sat down.
Don't want it to be giant.
We said from the very beginning, it's not going to be giant. We're not going to take over the health industry, all of that. But we do want to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. You get that big and you lose your soul. And I know, because I've been there.
Right,
You lose your soul. Corporate world takes over, fangs come out, dollars go up, the board of directors and all the poisons and toxins come out, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's the company's soulless. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Nope,
Right.
not going to happen.
Yep. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that obviously we are going to still continue our product line for a while. There's a lot of things that are not clean out there in the market yet that we need to provide, and we need to provide it at really affordable prices. I mean, some of these upcoming formulas I'm so excited about because I know the cost savings and the value and the change it's going to have in people's lives and bodies. So obviously we're going to continue being fairly aggressive at that over the next 5 years, but there's going to come a point where I think we even reel back from that. And we're finding more ways to serve people, finding more ways to educate people. That's a big part of this company that only a small handful of people have experienced, which is the education, side of our sister company, right?
Revive
Events. And so I see us, using some of the revenue eventually to really just pour into people and to educate people and to love on them more, because I think that when I started with you guys, I told you that. I said, I'm a formulator, but I'm an educator. And I'm going to be here to help people.
And that's the part
never going to leave out of me, because it's
wanna...
important to me that we educate people so they know how to take care of
and
themselves.
And that's what we do at our events. That's why we do the events, these private events with, small groups of people for 3 days, where we fast and we do the deep education, on health and on wellness matters. So that's an important part of what we do. It really is.
For sure. Adam?
I'm excited to see probably the diversity and growth of raw materials. I mean, in just 2 years, we have over probably 400 raw ingredients. I mean, been in the warehouse. We're constantly adjusting and expanding the warehouse.
It's a different smell
Next
every
week,
day.
that number will go up.
You walk in there and it's ginger one day, and it's peppermint another day, and it's black pepper one day. Every day is a different
Adam's favorite,
smell.
Valerian.
A little strong.
He hates some of the things I bring in there.
It is the healthiest place in Ohio to work.
But I think that's exciting to have such a diverse amount of ingredients.
Absolutely.
Because I see it on the manufacturing side. You guys are formulating, but as we add all of this additional stuff, then the ingredient list grows and it grows and it grows. And it helps us in sourcing to say, okay, we're a big player now. We may not be a big player in the retail market, but we become more of a big player in the raw ingredient market, that we can source good ingredients and the diverse ingredients. So
all over the globe.
It reminded me, that these guys and Doug put together a map of where we get all of our ingredients. And they started populating it, and it started going like this, pop, pop, pop. And it was like all over the world. I couldn't believe it. It's like every single continent, and we have to make sure that these are clean. So that's not easy to do.
Right, for sure.
But it was a cool map to see.
It was a cool
We're
map.
affecting every continent now in this little small company by buying goods from them.
And we try to go back to where that plant's natively grown, where it's coming in cleanest from,
and
where we
farmers.
Can support farmers directly. There's a whole other side of this that people don't realize, and they just go, oh, whatever is cheapest. It's like, we will pay double the price if it's coming from the right source.
Do it all. How many times have we done
we do that all the time.
Lindsay,
all the time.
We've walked over there, and he'll tell me what one little bag of something costs. I'm like, don't tell me that. Or don't tell me what
500 a kilo.
Yes, or that piece of machinery costs.
5,000 a kilo.
Yeah.
We have some ingredients over there that are $5,000 a kilo.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of wrap it up, I think in 5 years, I agree with you, Weston. I think we're going to be doing more educating. Right now, I look at this and I'm kind of like, we're building the foundation. Like, we have to be working hard and creating all these supplements, and there's a lot of operational things going on and day-to-day things that we're still building the company.
In the trenches.
Yeah, we're still in the trenches. But 5 years from now, I see us doing a lot more retreats, a lot more education, a lot more seminars, a lot more just one-on-one time with people, because and then we're able to direct them to everything that we've built now. We've got something for anything that you need, So that's going to be the sweet spot for me, because that's what I love to do. For sure.
So appreciate you guys. Tell you what,
it's been a great conversation.
But I got to tell you, there's no way that any of this could get done without you. Just no way. Zero. It just doesn't happen.
It's definitely a very collective effort.
And it's a very synergistic team, and I think the great thing is that everybody here they're all good people, and they're good to work with. Nobody, there's not ego, there's not anybody that's, there's no toxicity in the company. And that's what I love the most about the company, is we've never had any infighting. I've still yet to see any infighting in the company, and I think that carries over into our products.
I do too.
That bad energy, boy. You got people in a place making healthy products with bad energy. I just don't think it works.
I would agree.
I think there's a lot of love here.
I agree.